This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And tonight the road trip continues through Miami. Game number 1 between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Miami Marlins. Jim Hayes is here. That's Tim McCarver. I'm Dan McLaughlin. And welcome to Cardinals baseball. Matt Carpenter, Tim, has turned into an MVP candidate. An amazing run of baseball.
Just unbelievable. Since May 16th, keep in mind there are 750 major league players. And I defy anybody to say that any one of those 750 has been more to his team than Matt Carpenter has during that time.
Since May 16th, first in average, first in on-base percentage, first in homers. By the way, he leads the league overall. It has been a remarkable run for Matt Carpenter. He's in the lineup tonight. He'll play first base. He'll bat leadoff for the Cardinals. We're in Miami. The Cardinals, the Marlins coming up. ever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. In Miami and Marlins Park, the Cardinals lately have been all smiles. Does it continue tonight? Game #1, the Cardinals and Marlins, coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. Ever. In the month of August, the roof is open here at this ballpark. It's 84 degrees, along with Tim McCarver and Jim Hayes. I'm Dan McLaughlin. The Cardinals have won a couple straight, playing pretty good baseball as of late.
That also is 3 series in a row. And do you find yourself perhaps prematurely thinking about Matt Carpenter and his first at bat?
What might happen?
Most leadoff hitters, like Richie Ashburn, Scooter Rizzuto, Pee Wee Reese, guys like that, were singles hitters and things like that. But the thing about Carpenter that has opened everybody's eyes, his leadoff home runs, his home runs when they count, and my goodness, I'm looking forward. I'm very excited about a Carpenter at bat.
He is homered in 3 straight, on base in 24 straight. At the top of the lineup for the Cardinals, followed by Yadier Molina, and then Jose Martinez, Marcell Ozuna, Jed Jerko, Paul DeYoung dropping down in the lineup, Harrison Bader, Jairo Munoz at second base tonight with a lefty on the mound, and Luke Weaver pitching for St. Louis and batting 9th. Wei-Yin Chen lost to the Braves in his last start. He allowed 5 runs in 5 innings. Don Mattingly actually skipped him yesterday in Philly to make sure he would start at home. And the reason why, his ERA on the road is near 11, but at home, very respectable, about 2.5.
You would think a guy who's won 3 and lost 8, that he wouldn't be skipping any turns to face any team. But Chen has, and here he is on the mound.
So a warm, muggy night here in Little Havana.
Dan, I can't remember a game that we've done where the roof was open.
I can't either. I think it's the first time. I can remember many times they've taken BP with the roof open and the ball flies.
Yeah.
But not the actual game. So here you go, partner. You get to watch Matt Carpenter lead it off. And the first pitch is strike, and we're underway. His first 35 games of the year, he was hitting 140. And now he just might be your MVP. A lot of times a player that starts out that slowly, you may see them change their stance, move off the plate, chase pitches out of the zone. But Carpenter really didn't deviate from what he was doing earlier in the year.
Nope.
2-1.
Actually sought the advice of the front office and Cardinal personnel, and they said, you're going about it the right way. Keep doing the same thing. He did, and look what's happened.
The 2-1 pitch. Out of play. Many times I like to say a lot of fans disguised as seats. That's the case tonight. Just wonder if Derek Jeter at any point in time now, as the owner, co-owner of this team and running the ball club, will be able to get the fans back. Will they trust in that ownership group and in this franchise to come back? The 2-2. Winning certainly helps.
Former owner John Loria sold it for $2 billion after purchasing it, this ball club, for around $200 million. Jeffrey Loria, that is. Just because he sold the team doesn't mean I have to change his name.
A strike on the outside corner. Carpenter didn't like it, and the first man retired. There's Donnie Baseball, one of the all-time greats, and Don Mattingly. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks.
And Matt thought that ball was outside. Looked like a strike.
Yadier Molina with one out. And Molina looks at a strike. 289 the average for the 36-year-old. He's popped 14 home runs, and he's driven in 48. We were talking to Cardinals manager Mike Schilt before the game, and he paid Molina the ultimate compliment of saying he sees the field better than anybody I've been around, and that includes myself. He said he sees it better than I do. We talked a lot about his durability, the mental toughness, and the 0-2.
I think durability, mental toughness. What about his offense?
Production.
You know, right around 290 now. Long ball, hits when they need them.
The 1-2 pitch inside.
And the fact that it's August, you know how tender his hands are. Young pitching staff, the younger the pitching staff, the harder they throw, generally speaking. Tougher breaking balls to handle.
And the 2-2 hit to short. JT Riddle. And there's two away. Marlins defensively with Dietrich in left, McNair Sierra in center, the former Cardinal. Brian Anderson, a very good rookie, in right. Prado, Riddle, Castro, and Bohr along the infield. JT Realmuto is behind the plate, and he's a good one too. Jose Martinez in right field tonight, hitting .298, 13 home runs, and he's driven in 63. That's out of play.
Branch Rickey would not give Jose Martinez a look. I'll guarantee you. You know why? The movement of his bat. Rickey loved someone. Now, Branch Rickey signed Jackie Robinson, who also had a lot of movement in his swing before he swung. Martinez has anything but a quiet bat. And it proves once again it doesn't matter how you start. where you're locked in about when that ball's about 10 to 12 feet from home plate.
I would say that Branch and a number of others missed out on Jose Martinez.
Yes.
He can hit.
He can hit, flat out hit.
And the 2-1 lifted out to right, and Anderson with the catch. Cardinals go in order. And Luke Weaver to the mound for St. Louis. It's game 1. Miami and St. Louis. Half inning in the books, and there's no score. Last start at home at Busch Stadium. Mike Schilt has been very aggressive in his brief tenure as the manager, and he's not afraid if someone is struggling to pull them early, and that's what happened with Luke Weaver.
Yes, sir. Matter of fact, 6 of his last 9 starts, he's failed to go 6.
Don Mattingly and his club, they have lost 6 straight, averaging just 3 runs in those games. Dietrich at the top, and then Anderson and Real Muto, Justin Bohr, Castro, the former Cub and Yankee, Prado, Riddle, Sierra, and Chen. The lineup for Miami tonight. Derek Dietrich hitting .280 with 14 home runs and 38 runs batted in. There's strike 1.
Excuse me, Dan. It was about this time last year that Luke Weaver really got it all together. On August 2nd, he started out and won 7 in a row when September 20th came around. So if he can do that and turn what's been a bad year into a good year, who knows? Certainly Cardinals are looking for that too. Not only help Luke, but St. Louis.
And the 1-1 is a fair ball down the right field line. Martinez over to cut it off, and Dietrich to second base with a leadoff double. Just over the glove of Carpenter, and fair. Leadoff double for Dietrich.
That was a changeup. It was interesting. I was watching the Phillies game against the Marlins yesterday, and Dietrich hit a changeup for a home run to put the Marlins on the board in Philadelphia. Marlins eventually tied that game, but the Phillies won it.
Brian Anderson, the right fielder. He's a rookie, has 125 hits. That's 16 more than the next rookie, Miguel Andar, in baseball.
He could very well be the Rookie of the Year in the National League. Not a stretch. It's
a line foul and out of play. Always find this interesting. Young players, runner at second, nobody out. The idea would be to bring him in or advance him. Ground ball right side. Little things that you do to move a runner up. Good teams do it.
That talk has almost vanished from the game now. That particular point about moving the runner from second to third doesn't appear to be in their MO and should be.
Nothing in 2 the count. Little flare hit down the right field line, but foul.
That's the best way to counter someone trying to move the runner across. Pitch him inside. You know, that's what staying ahead will do too, Dan. If you stay ahead of hitters, you can pitch inside. If you don't, you can't. There are very few pitchers that come inside when they're behind in the count.
Mike Maddox has preached pitching in and up a lot this year. It started in spring training. The 0-2. 1-2 the count on Anderson. The Cardinals have added Tyson Ross officially tomorrow, picking him up from San Diego. John Mozeliak, the president of baseball operations, telling me that he will go to the bullpen. So with some of the short outings that we've seen, Ross would be able to go from a rotation of the Padres and cover innings out of the pen. How to play again.
That makes a lot of sense because he's formerly a starter and could go 2 or 3 from the bullpen instead of the customary 1 inning.
We had a nice visit with that man tonight, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Mike Schilt, the interim manager of the Cardinals. One ball and 2 strikes, and another from Brian to Brian Anderson. Inside, 2-2. Real key for Weaver is trying to locate the changeup, which he has struggled with here recently, especially.
Yeah, not forget the fastball either. Some young pitchers go to too many specialty pitches and forget the number 1. It's still the best pitch in the game. Best pitch to locate.
Little check swing and a base hit into right. Dietrich will score, and it's 1-0 Miami.
Little excuse me swing to right field. So we've had ball off the end of the bat by Dietrich. Now a check swing base hit the other way. Marlins are on the board without an out. You look at this Marlins team and it's hard to believe that they are that futile offensively. They've got power, they've got speed.
Real Muto batting .301, which is 10th best in the National League. He's got 7-game hitting streak against the Cardinals going back to last year. St. Louis trying to figure out how to get him out. He's hit close to 400 against St. Louis. We'll check on the runner Anderson, who has a pair of stolen bases this year. One ball and 1 strike. the next two, Real Muto instead of check on Anderson. Cardinals starting with the first of 3 tonight against Miami. Off day Thursday. Then a weekend series in Kansas City. First of 3 on Friday night. The 2-1 pitch. 2-2. This is the 20th time, by the way, that they've had the roof open. It's a total of 14 last year. First ever since the ballpark opened that the roof has been open in the month of August. The 2-2 pitch. We saw in spring training Luke Weaver aggressive, ahead in counts, going right at hitters, and we have not seen that guy except for a handful of times this year.
Night and day from last year.
3-2 pitch. Runner goes, and it's out of play. Anderson at first base, not running, and the pitch is called a strike on the outside corner.
Good changeup on a fastball count.
Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Ozuna, Bader, and Martinez in the outfield. Jerko, DeYoung, Munoz, and Carpenter along the infield. Yadier Molina is behind the plate. The return of Marcell Ozuna, former Marlin, in left field for the Cardinals tonight. And he was all smiles with the media today. "37 home runs a year ago."
Get your head out of the stands.
Justin Bohr.
That used to be a standard remark when guys were looking in the stands. It's easy for Marcell because he's got so many friends here. Probably knows everybody by their first name with these crowds.
It really is a shame. I mean, there is nobody here. Place is empty. One ball and one strike. It does make you appreciate what we have in St. Louis.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the tradition, the amount of championships, and the crowd, the fans that come out on Monday nights against lesser teams.
That's one thing that will never be taken for granted by the players or management. St. Louis faithful.
One ball and two strikes on Justin Bohr. It's grounded into 8 double plays. That's fouled away.
Justin Bohr is 3 for his last 30. All 3 were home runs. He did it in Philadelphia in those 3 games they just finished in Philly.
19 home runs on the year. He's driven in 53.
Weighs 270 pounds.
A big dude.
6'4", 270.
Off of Weaver. And this will turn out to be a base hit on what might have been a double play.
Going to be scored a hit, but it's clearly a double play had Weaver not interfered. You know, part of that, it's a reaction play, but I think it should be entwined in perhaps that pitcher's covering the, what is it, PFP?
Pitcher's fielding practice.
Right. That if you can't field it, don't distract it. It's very difficult to do because your reactions mean slow it down.
Already the 23rd pitch of the inning for Weaver. Here's Starlin Castro. And strike one. Thought the Cubs may build around Starlin Castro. Gave him a $60 million extension. There's your ground ball. And there's your double play. 6-4-3 with the double play. The RBI for Anderson and Marcell Ozuna coming up. .277 the average, 96 homers, 361 runs batted in. Kubota Power Stats all-time home run leaders at this ballpark. No surprise, Stanton at the top. He'll be here in a couple of weeks with the Yankees, and then Marcell Ozuna. And the first pitch, a ball. It was interesting that Marcell was introduced, and it was like any other player coming to the plate. The 2-0 pitch. We've seen guys in St. Louis, they come back and they were popular or marginal players, and they're getting standing O's.
Adored.
Ozuna rips it out to left. The leadoff base hit.
That's the best way to be cheered for. All that other stuff doesn't count. That's a rope right there. That's a big league liner.
.112 miles per hour off the bat. Here's Jed Jerko. He's got 5 of his 8 home runs against left-handers and batting .333 against left-handed pitching this year. Reached base safely in 9 of his last 18 plate appearances. Very good series against the Pirates over the weekend. And there's strike one. Drove in 6 over the weekend against Pittsburgh. Room on the right side, and the 0-1 pitch fouled back, 0-2.
Jed would like that one back. That's his wheelhouse right there. This is a tough park in which to hit, too. Spacious, good background in center field, but it's not a home run hitter's ballpark by any means.
And the 1-2 tap foul. Old Dominion bringing his best. Jed Jerko, last 3 games. So over the weekend against the Pirates, drives in 6 and scores 3. Morgantown, West Virginia native. A lot of family and friends there in Pittsburgh. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and he hits it the other way. Anderson with the catch, and Ozuna back to the bag at first.
That's an example about how through this humid air, the ball was hit very well by Jerko, but an out. You have to be awfully strong like Giancarlo Stanton or somebody like that to hit a ball out the other way in this park, and he did it with consistency.
Chen faced St. Louis back on June 6th, went 4 1/3, took a no decision, an eventual Marlins win that night at Busch Stadium. And now he'll face Paul DeJong. There are 63 pitchers right now in the National League with at least 80 innings under their belt. Chen being one of them. His ERA is the worst, 5.86. And a strike to DeJong. One thing we've seen with DeJong in this rut that he's in, he's hitting behind in the count, taking a lot of fastballs.
Absolutely. A lot of fastballs for first pitches.
A ball and a strike.
Amazing what confidence can do too, Dan. Get a few hits, a couple of good games under your belt. That sets you off.
The 1-1. Room on the right side of the infield. They shift for Paul DeJong. Hold Ozuna at first. Outfield shades him towards right center. The 2-1. 2-2.
What Paul DeJong's looking for, a reverse mortgage. Reversal of fortune.
The 2-2. And a foul ball off his foot. I'm going to say that it's catcher's interference. You can hear the umpire up here. We don't need a microphone. They're going to say that his swing, that it hit the glove of Real Muto, so DeJong gets first base, and that's the home plate umpire Jim Reynolds with that call.
What happens is when a catcher tries to get up under the hitter, he gets too close to the hitter. And that's usually for the curveball to work effectively. See if you hear a double click. Yeah. Called immediately by home plate umpire Jim Reynolds. Error on the catcher for allowing DeJong to go to first, and no at bat charged to DeJong.
So that'll be the 6th there on Real Muto, and now it's Harrison Bader. Mentioned in the ball game yesterday, Bader holding his hands a little bit differently at the plate, with the idea of not pulling off, trying to have him go to right field a little bit more. And he smokes one out to center. Sierra back at the wall and makes the catch. Ozuna tagging up late and diving in head first to third as Harrison Bader gave it a ride.
It's good base running by Ozuna too. After the catch was made, realizing that Sierra had his back to home plate and taking third without a play. Once again, this ball's out of any ballpark. Harrison Bader used every ounce of his energy to hit that ball right on the screws. Ozuna, good base running by going to third.
So 2 outs and 2 on. The 8th place batter, Jairo Munoz. We were talking about Munoz before the game and the year that he's put together. It's been impressive. And ball 1.
One of the most surprising Cardinals.
Most definitely. Was in the Steven Piscotty deal. Came over from Oakland, and the A's have been one of the hottest teams in baseball. They've won 6 in a row. Now just 4 back of Houston.
4 back? Kidding me? The world champions in August? Get out of here.
Got a shot.
Yeah.
Added Jerry's Familia to their bullpen. A lot of times they're the sellers at the deadline, but not this time. 1 ball, 1 strike. Also, Oakland trading for Mike Fiers today. Picked up from Detroit to bolster potentially both the bullpen and the rotation. 1-2 the count on Munoz. He's been very effective with 2 strikes. Inside corner and struck him out. The Cardinals strand a pair. The 2nd strikeout. Wei-Yin Chen.
Ozuna, he told me he loves playing in St. Louis, but it's emotional for him coming back to Miami where his major league career started. Ozuna told me this is where I came into my own as a player. The fans were great to me. Ozuna said his entire family is here for this series. Even his father, who flew in from the Dominican. Ozuna's dad is wearing a Cardinals jersey, but accidentally went to the Marlins dugout first. Marzell said he got a little confused. He's just very excited to see me play. Understandable, guys.
Yeah, and first time up, a rope into left field off the bat of Ozuna. Here's an 0-1 pitch to Martin Prado. Looks like he's been hearing it from the fans, and believe me, he'll be able to hear them. On a hop to Jairo Munoz, and he makes the play. We turn to Tim McCarver's Toyota key to the game.
For Luke Weaver, we've had this key several times to get back on track and be a semblance of what he was last year in August through September for the most part, when he won the 7 straight games. It's there. He's got to find it.
There's JT Riddle with 1 out, shortstop for the Marlins. These two teams see each other a bunch, sharing the same complex in Jupiter, Florida. Riddle primarily a backup last couple of years, and now getting a chance to play. That's fouled back.
Speaking of Jupiter, I would imagine tomorrow night's starter slept at home.
Miles Michaelis.
I would think. Maybe. Living in Jupiter, Florida, only about 70 miles from here.
I have flown into here, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm, to get to Jupiter. All very convenient.
Yes.
Great area. Always fun in spring training. Beautiful, beautiful area. One and two the count. It's been a while since I've seen you. You doing okay?
Yeah, doing great.
We had the 5-game series in Chicago last time I saw you.
I see you about as regularly as my doctor and doctors, plural.
I'm assuming I'm the better of the visits.
Well, I have to get an appointment with both.
Have your people call my people. The 2-2 out of play. Well, the idea was get a new ballpark, take some of those funds, reinvest in the team, which initially they did. Remember, they got Mark Burley, Jose Reyes. They had a young nucleus coming up here with the Marlins, and it took all of a year, and then they gutted that. JT Riddle is out number 2. MLB at bat, your #1 Cardinals app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Cardinals home screen icons. Features such as the MLB.TV game of the day. Download MLB at bat today. Last time we were here, this young man put on a show for the Cardinals.
Sure did.
Magneuris Sierra playing in his 12th game tonight, the major league level.
You're Luke Weaver, you want to make him hit to get on. No walks. Have the pitcher lead off the next inning. Very important how the lineup has worked.
They had Luis Castillo and Juan Pierre at the top of their lineup a few years ago. That great speed back to back.
Juan Pierre working for the Marlins in spring training.
And working in particular with Sierra. One of the things they talk about is trying to get him to bunt. Learn how to bunt.
Learn how to use his speed. Got to make him hit to get on.
The 3-1 pitch. 3-2. It was a remarkable series that he had against the Marlins last year. 3-2, chop to second. Munoz quickly to first, and Sierra the third out. A 1-2-3 for Luke Weaver coming up. The Cardinals pitcher leads it off, followed by Carpenter and Molina. Beautiful night here in Miami. Download the Fox Sports Go app. Log in and stream the Cardinals. Maybe some fans at home wondering why the roof is open. Number one, it's a pleasant night here in Miami, but when Derek Jeter and his group took over, they did polls and asked season ticket holders questions of what they liked, what was the experience like when they came to the ballpark, and the number one ask of the fans was to open up the roof. And so that's what they're trying to do a little bit more this year.
I think it's just a delightful evening.
Now you get a lot of those pop-up storms, but if they hit, you've got the roof and keep on going. There's an 0-1 pitch to Luke Weaver. We had breaking news on our pregame show tonight. Rick Ankiel is the studio analyst back in St. Louis at Ballpark Village. As a grounder is hit to short, and he has announced that he will attempt a comeback as a pitcher. And Rick spoke to him last week about this. He was going to pitch in a game that was assembled with very good college players and former major leaguers, including Chipper Jones, and Johnny Damon was on the mound, felt good, hit 89 on the gun. And Rick telling me it was a lot about his body. If his body felt decent, spinning some curveballs, letting loose with the fastball, he would do it. And why not? He's an amazing athlete. Maybe play a little winter ball, see how the body responds. Back-to-back days, those kind of things.
Rick, what, 39 now?
39.
Right.
But God-given ability and a God-given left arm that is remarkable. Get it back in shape and see what happens. And Carpenter lifts a fly ball out to left field, shallow. Dietrich coming on. He'll make the catch. I said, well, teams already reached out to you for this year. And he said, yes. And he said he actually is told everybody, just let's pump the brakes. Let me see how the body responds. He had hip surgery. But I'm pulling for him, and I'll never bet against him.
Yeah, you can't help but pull for Rick and Keel.
Great talent, great friend.
Great book.
Incredible book. That's fouled back by Molina. I mean, can you imagine coming full circle after everything he's been through to go back on the mound?
I think Yadier Molina just went full circle and hit the mask of Real Muto. That's how the top hand comes off.
Gives you an idea that maybe Real Muto is close, though, to these hitters. He's already had an interference call as Molina lifts it in the air out to left.
Well, we talked about it. That's how interference is called when you get up close trying to get the curveball.
By Edward Jones. Saturday, August 18th, 30,000 fans 16 and older take home a mystery baseball cap honoring the fan vote inductees, Vince Coleman or Ray Langford, courtesy of Edward Jones. Cardinals.com/promotions. Be a busy day at Ballpark Village. Willie McGee signing autographs starting at 10. Hall of Fame ceremony, which is open to the public. And then the Brewers in town for game 2 of that weekend series. Wei-Yin Chen is 4 for 26, 11 strikeouts. Outfield extremely shallow. Strike one. Oh, 1 pitch. Nothing in 2. Big happy birthday to Katie Gomes. Katie Gomes celebrating a birthday, and also Zach Poole. And they never miss a game on Fox Sports Midwest. There's the strikeout, second tonight for Luke Weaver. Brings in Dietrich, who doubled down the right field line. Tim was asking before the game, and I'm not sure if we can do it, but I'll do my best. Not many times do we do a broadcast outside the booth, but you were asking me if we could go to the Clevelander.
Was not.
And I'm going to ask our bosses if that could be done and take care of your request.
Oh, man.
Now, normally I would say no to most of my partners with a request, but it's Tim McCarver, so if he says we're going to the Clevelander, well, got to do what I got to do.
Well, the Clevelander, for those who may not know, is a nightclub here in the ballpark.
Oh, really?
Well, come on. I mean,
I had no idea.
Well, I mean, if you would have explained that clearly, then people would have known that it wasn't someplace in Ohio.
I had no idea. Well, now I know. And whatever you need, Tim, I'm here to help. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Dietrich.
Well, let's put it this way. The Cardinals hope that the last call tonight is the third out of the bottom of the ninth.
Yeah. There's a lot of nice people out there at the Clevelander. Seems to be a wholesome group. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Derek Dietrich. And he struck him out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Luke Weaver.
Last 2 hitters, even though, okay, Chin's a pitcher, but Weaver's used his fastball consistently. 2 straight strikeouts and 3 for the night, all taking. Clevelander.
Well, I mean,
you're tarnishing my reputation. You'll be hearing from my lawyers.
I'm just
trying this week.
Trying to facilitate any request you may have. And I'll be right along with you. Ball 1 to Brian Anderson. Single to right on a check swing back in the first inning. And a ground ball that's hit to Jairo Munoz. And another 1-2-3 inning for Weaver.
Good work right there. Good work.
Coming up, Jose Martinez, Marcell Ozuna, and Jed Jerko. Miami on top by a run. leads it off for St. Louis. He lined out to right. Ozuna to follow, who has a single to left, and Jerko a line out to right. Get the feeling this might be an inning that the Cardinals, second time through, get to this lefty.
Three tough right-handers: Martinez, Ozuna, and Jerko.
One ball and one strike. Little check swing. 1-2. Season ticket holders, the Huber family, are here. Tim, Liz, Quinn in attendance. I want to thank all our great season ticket holders, a base of nearly 25,000 back home in St. Louis. Thank them all. It's a chopper foul. And the 1-2 pitch to Jose Martinez. Take it high, 2-2. Jumping around in the batter's box. Mentioned this before. Sometimes you'll catch him talking to himself, sometimes to his bat. The catcher, the umpire, the opposition, the pitcher, the fans. Not sure he knows. The 2-2. 3-2.
Looked like a pitch out then. Of course it wasn't. That ball was 9 inches outside. When you're 3-8, obviously you have control problems.
And a leadoff walk. Community Coffee teaming up with the Cardinals to bring fans $5 tickets. Cardinals host the Nationals August 13th through the 16th. Max Scherzer, he might be on turn one of those games. Bryce Harper in town. Matt Adams back in St. Louis. $5 tickets at cardinals.com/communitycoffee. That first plate appearance by Ozuna, hit a rope to left. Saw him really get the barrel through the zone. There's ball one.
Reminds me about 30 years ago or plus, more than that, I had the pleasure of working with the winder, Don Drysdale. And he's the first guy that I had ever heard that talked about, used the expression of being wild in the strike zone. And I think with Chin, that's one of his problems. He either misses with balls, or the strikes that he throws are so good that they're delectable to the hitter, if that's the proper term. But wild in the strike zone is a phrase that some pitchers are guilty of.
2-0.
What an ideal way to welcome yourself back to Miami if you're Ozuna.
Just thinking that. The 2-0 pitch. Here she comes. It's a strike. Think about that outfield a year ago. Yelich, Ozuna, Stanton.
Best in the game and the best the major leagues has seen in a long time, the way Ozuna was playing.
Big gap in left center.
Stanton, of course, with the Yankees, Yelich with the Milwaukee Brewers, and Ozuna with the Cardinals.
But Boston sweeping the Yankees 4 straight at Fenway. They're now 79-34, the Red Sox. 9.5 game lead. And the 2-1 lifted in the air. That'll carry to the center fielder, Sierra. Sierra, as we saw last year, a very good throwing arm. That's out number 1. Thought it was interesting in our conversation with Mike Schilt in his office today how much he has been talking, text back and forth with Tony La Russa. Said,
Speaking of the Red Sox,
exactly.
Tony, an advisor for the Sox.
Mike saying that he's really relied on Tony with various issues. Those two, of course, have a past. There's Jed Jerko, and that's hit sharply to third. Prado to second and out. Makes you wonder about the jump of Martinez to be out at second base.
You do. If you get a jump, you're thinking the ball will be by the third baseman. It was juggled briefly by Prado. Then he stayed with it. Martinez, not a big lead.
Cardinals will not challenge this play.
Good play by Prado. You know what? He almost jumped too far. I think that's why the ball kind of flipped out. It hit the heel of the glove, just popped out. He stayed with it to get the force.
Jerko stretching and grabbing maybe the back of the left leg. He's had some hamstring issues this year. With strike 2, Paul DeYoung. But not a bad resource at your fingertips to call up Tony La Russa, who invites it too.
Oh yeah.
Mike ran I think it was back in 08, 09, the entire minor league camp when Tony La Russa was the manager, and walked in bright-eyed, and Mike went to Tony, and Tony said, "Let's go. What do you need? What kind of help do you want? What advice can I give you? But it's your ship. You got to run it." That's a big responsibility. Minor league, or a major league and minor league camp. And on the hands of Paul DeYoung.
Paul's caught in between, man. Average has plummeted to 237. In between, taking too many pitches. He's taken the first pitch in both at bats tonight.
Oh-2. The fan base of the Cardinals just getting introduced and maybe used to Mike Schilt. Mike, when he sees a little bit of a tell with a pitcher or a catcher, will run. We've seen that more aggressive style of baseball. Cardinal fans enjoy that style.
If the Cardinals lose, more often than not, now under Schilt, it's losing aggressively and not passively. There's a big difference.
One ball and 2 strikes on Paul DeYoung. A little bit low. Was short lead at first by Jerko. The 2-2 pitch to Paul DeYoung. Got him. A strikeout of DeYoung, and that's 3 tonight for Chen. Real Muto leads it off when we come back. Yeah, more on that when we check in with Jim.
Dan, he was promoted from AAA, where he had been, as Michael Gersh put it, on a Matt Carpenter type tear. Slow start to the season, but Garcia's numbers turned around quickly. He was hitting .269 with 21 homers in Memphis. Adolis told me he's excited for his family, that he's reached the big leagues. He said baseball has always been about family for him. He learned about baseball from his dad, who was a professional player in Cuba, and his hero growing up is his older brother Adonis, who had played with Atlanta and is now playing in Korea. Dan.
All right, Jimmy, great story. And another one from the Cardinals minor league system. Cardinals producing player after player.
My goodness, I'll say.
Saw him a lot in spring training. He's got a lot of tools. Can run, power, real big arm. That's back to Luke Weaver for the out.
Well, I may be coming up with a name from the way past, but facially he looks a lot like Julio Gotay, who was with the Cardinals back in the early 60s. I played with Julio for 3 years in the minor leagues for Joe Schultz, who was fired in 1962. We won the Little World Series. He was rehired as a coach for Johnny Keane and the Cardinals.
This young man can run, can play all three outfield spots. It was a year that the Cardinals were very aggressive in the international market and signed Garcia. Back again to Weaver, so he settled in.
2-1 hoppers.
A reminder that Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by the Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer close to home, and by Toyota. Let's go places. Wherever you may be, we hope you're enjoying Cardinals baseball tonight. Never know, maybe some of the PGA players watching us tonight as they start to roll into St. Louis for the PGA Championship at Belle Reve, and St. Louis buzzing. Golf world, all eyes on Belle Reve in St. Louis. Justin Spieth was out today, practice round. That's out to deep left field. Ozuna back. Looks up and it's gone. A long home run. Starlin Castro, his 9th of the year.
This young man could always hit. He could hit with the Cubs. He could hit with the Yankees. And he's hitting again for the Marlins. Looked like a changeup. Pasted over the Clevelander.
Martin Prado was given an extension right after the passing of Jose Fernandez. They had talked to Prado about an extension before Fernandez passed away, as they were going to build around the pitcher and sign him long term, keep some of the pieces in place. There's many that believe around here that if he is still pitching for the Marlins, the outfield is still intact. Obviously Prado's here. You had Real Muto coming up. Devastating loss to this franchise. Here we are in Little Havana. Many from Cuba live in this area.
Jose's parents from Cuba. He grew up in Tampa. What a wonderful young man he was. No, it's easy to do that when someone passes, but easy to say nice things, but that was the genuine feeling of the masses about Jose Fernandez.
And the 1-2 lifted out to left center. There's Bader with the catch. Ball that carried on him a bit, but he makes the catch. And we head to the 5th. 7, 8, and 9 coming up. Bader leads it off when we come back. Thomas, Tiger Woods.
The big ones.
They'll all be there. PGA Championship in St. Louis. There's Bader, who flied to deep center. Hit one to the track with 2 runners on back in inning number 2. Cardinals have won 3 straight series for the first time this season. 2 out of 3 against the Cubs, 3 of 4 against the Rockies, and over the weekend 2 of 3 against the Pirates. Two balls and 1 strike.
The game's strange at times. Here's Chin with that earned run average around 2, 11 on the road, 2 at home. Don Mattingly saying we're not going to try to explain it. We're going to try to ride it.
And a fly ball into right field. Anderson with the catch. Bader 0 for 2. Don Mattingly and the Marlins sending down today Sandy Alcantara, former Cardinal that was involved in the Ozuna deal, really the centerpiece of the deal going back. And he had been dealing with an infection in his armpit. He threw in Jupiter Friday night, the 3rd rehab start that he's put together. And the Marlins sent him back down. So he's healthy enough to pitch, but not on the active roster, and back down to the minor leagues.
From what we understand from Marlin personnel, he is not very happy with that demotion either. Who would be?
The 2-0 pitch to Munoz. Out of play, 2-1.
With more experience, Munoz will consider strikes like that. 2-0, you want the ball down the fat part of the plate. It can be a strike, but if it's on the outside part of the plate, you're not going to get the meat of the bat on it. That's the point. Look for your strike, not the pitcher's strike. With 2 strikes, you're forced to look for the pitcher's strike.
Two and 1 to count, now 2-2. Mark Budaska there, the longtime hitting coach in the minor leagues. George Greer also helping. Adam Wainwright there on the left. There's George down there. Three and 2, George Greer. Big gap in left center. Shallow right again. Anderson under it. The Cardinals have 1 hit tonight. That was Ozuna's single to left to start inning number 2.
Cardinals have flied out 7 times tonight. To the outfield, that is.
Chin had some good years in Baltimore. A bandbox at that ballpark. You think about fly balls there, that's not going to work, but here it's a different story.
Certainly partially explains why he's so effective here.
Here's a 1-1. They have the home run sculpture still here at the ballpark. Although you may have noticed Miami hit a home run and it didn't move. used to have movement to it.
Have the dolphin.
That just says baseball, doesn't it, right there?
Well, I kind of liked it.
I thought, you know, you said that last year.
Well, then I'm consistent, buddy.
That's not. No.
Well, I'm consistent. Come on. I liked it last year, and I like it this year, and I liked it 5 years ago.
It's sharply to third. Nice play by Prado.
How about that play?
Go to a public park and see it.
Okay.
2-0. Dizzy Dean watch. One of a kind. Dizzy Dean watch courtesy of AT&T. August 19th. Cardinals and Brewers. Cardinals.com/promotions. Our Budweiser What's on Tap. Back at it again tomorrow. Game number 2. Miles Michaelis on the mound for St. Louis. That's back on June 7th. Win against Miami. He went 7 innings. And the Jupiter native toes the rubber tomorrow for Mike Schilt's club.
Pretty good segue from the AT&T promotion of Dizzy Dean, and he toes the rubber. So it was in 1934. This one is big toe. That's pretty clever.
You
partner.
picked up on that.
You bet I did. I pay attention to you. You're my idol. Don't you realize that by now?
Well, it's been exciting again, like I've said numerous seasons, to have you with an extended internship with Fox Sports Midwest. I think you've learned a few things over the years, and pretty soon we're going to set you out on your way.
That's right, partner.
Maybe get a national job, but don't be nervous. It's the big leagues, man.
And Dizzy Dean from Wiggins, Mississippi. Used to love to quail hunt south of Memphis. Big Cardinal territory.
Did you run into Dizzy?
I did, yeah, more than once. He was doing the game of the week with Pee Wee Reese at the time. And Gene Kirby was the executive producer and one of my favorite people. He was a funny man.
JT Riddle at the plate. You are fresh off a trip from Cooperstown to see Bob Costas go in the Hall of Fame.
See Bob Costas go in the Hall of Fame, and he was picture perfect with his speech. I mean, not a flaw. Now you expect that with Costas. He's a great writer. He's a brilliant mind. Fun. can tell a joke, appreciates a joke. He was funny. His stuff about euchre was classic.
Yeah,
wonderful. But it was just perfect.
I love what he said, very respectfully, about the Hall of Fame and Jim Cott.
Yes, so did I.
And getting Jim Cott
and
in
not just,
the Hall of Fame.
Not just because we're friends of Jim Cott, but because of the fact that he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
25 seasons, 283 wins.
That's all.
16 Gold Gloves.
That's all.
World title in 1982 with the Cardinals. Held on to by Molina. And strikeout number 4. And still, Jim is fabulous with Bob on the MLB
Certainly
showcase
is.
games.
Certainly is.
Jim also has a front office role this season with the Minnesota Twins, an advisory role.
Yep.
Great guy.
Huh. One of both of our best friends.
It's tremendous.
Really is. But speaking of Gene Kirby, I'll tell you how funny he is. Gene Mach, then the manager of the Montreal Expos, when Gene Kirby was a traveling secretary, they landed LaGuardia, and Gene Mach, it was an off day. They wanted to go to Shea for all the guys who wanted extra hitting. And Gene asked Gene Kirby, Gene Mach asked Gene Kirby to go ahead and tell the team that the bus is going to Shea Stadium.
1-1 hit the other way. Ozuna can't come up with it. And Sierra winds up at second base.
Yeah, boy. Well, if you play a shallow left field, that doesn't happen. But he was deeper than most. Sierra does not have good power the other way. Anyway, Gene Kirby gets up and tells the team. Now, here's a team that's in last place, not doing too well. And he said, gentlemen, Mr. Mach has asked me to make this announcement to you that the bus will be going to Shea Stadium, and all those who need extra hitting will get off the bus. From there, the empty bus will go to New York City.
Get off the bus, go hit. Everybody.
He said everybody was floored. Mach told me that story, and Gene Kirby was one of the real characters of as the executive producer of Dizzy Dean and Pee Wee Reese into the 70s when Kurt Gowdy and Tony Kubek took over.
That's fouled back by Chen. Marcell Ozuna, a Gold Glove winner a season ago with the Marlins. Unfortunately, the Cardinals have not seen that type of play from him this year.
That's fair.
Now, part of that is due to the soreness that he's had in the shoulder and the arm.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
That's hit into shallow right and foul.
That young man saying,
look at Jose Martinez.
Jose, I know, he's staring at him. The ball boy is saying, I'll handle this, Jose.
Nothing into the count. Martinez extremely shallow in right field, rightfully so. And a strikeout, second in the inning, and number 5 tonight. So with 2 outs, the batter will be Derek Dietrich. 2-0. Marlins with the lead. RBI single by Anderson back in the first. Solo home run hit by Castro in the 4th.
Keep in mind, and if you're out at Busch Stadium when the Cardinals return home, you can tell your friends this. With 2 outs and a runner on at second base, the infielders should play a step or a step and a half deeper The reason for that is if they can't make a play on a ball, they can at least knock it down and keep the runner from second base scoring and leave him at third instead of home.
Here's an 0-1 pitch. And a fly ball out to shallow left, but DeYoung is there. And the shortstop with the catch. Coming up, can the offense get going for St. Louis? The top of the lineup coming up. Carpenter, Molina, and Martinez. The National League Player of the Week, Matt Carpenter, next. And look at that, atop the National League, Matt Carpenter. And as we said before, who knows, he might be the MVP of the league.
That's a good place to show that sign. Little Havana.
At 18 second half games, and Carpenter with 10 home runs in the 18. He's homered in 3 straight. Now, third time through a lineup against this lefty. Teams have hit him at a clip of 383. We'll see if that holds true tonight. Molina to follow, and then Jose Martinez. 2-0 our score. Nothing into the count. Well, there's a lot of room down that right field line. Interesting, in the outfield, Anderson. There's a lot of room to cover, but they're actually shading him the other way in the outfield.
For a pull hitter.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
Obviously, that means the catcher and the pitcher are working in tandem to try to make him hit the ball that way, but he can pull that outside pitch if it's a strike.
Two and 2.
3 out of 4 curveballs.
Carpenter is struck out looking to begin the game and flied out to left. 0 for 2 tonight. The one hit was Marcell Ozuna. Leadoff single back in the 2nd inning. Cardinals have received a walk, catcher's interference. That's been it. Full count. Struck him up. 4th strikeout for Chen.
It looked like a cut fastball on the outside corner. Perfect spot for Chen.
Yadier Molina grounded out to short, also flied to left, 0 for 2. This has been shocking to see Wei Chen do what he's done tonight here against the Cardinals.
Well, of course, you go back to those 8 starts at home, and the earned run average a little above 2. It's below 2 now.
Isn't it funny? I mean, it's just maybe a matter of confidence, comfort, whatever. But he pitches so much better at home. The 1-1.
Well, he's a high ball pitcher. And with being a high ball pitcher, you're going to get a lot of fly balls. And we've talked about how tough it is to hit a ball out in this ballpark.
So 2-1 the count. The next 2, Molina. Inside. The bullpen of the Marlins first couple of months, outstanding. Recently, not so much. Pitch count at 86 for Chen. Eliezer Hernandez, right-hander, throwing in the pen for Miami. And Molina yanks it down the left field line. High, towering shot. Will it stay fair? It is foul. Home run distance, but foul.
I could tell by the timbre of your voice, partner, that you thought that ball may come back, and it looked like for a minute that it did. Our shot down the left field line is perfect from where we're situated here at Marlins Stadium. Just fouled by about 10 feet.
Thought it would definitely hook a little bit more, and it never did.
No.
And the 3-2. A 1-out walk. A little bit high. Second walk handed out by Chen. Tying run will come to the plate in Jose Martinez.
We're in the 6th inning, and that's only the 5th base runner for the Cardinals. Actually 4th if you count the fielder's choice by Jed Jerko in the 4th inning, because that erased Jose Martinez, who had walked.
Time to find an ATM? Again? We understand. Great Southern Bank. We're fans too.
Best opportunity, Tim, the Cardinals have had was 2nd inning. They had runners at 1st and 2nd. Bader up with 1 out. He sent one all the way to the wall in center. Next man up, Munoz, struck out with runners at 1st and 3rd and 2 down. And really that's been about it for Chen in terms of pitching in trouble.
You Cardinal fans have heard us talk about Dan Hyatt and what a great job he does with the notes and the unusual things that have happened to the Cardinals. With Matt Carpenter doing all the damage, aside from Carpenter, it's very difficult to get the rest of this offense going.
That could change here, though, with one swing with Jose Martinez. And strike 1. Here's an 0-1 pitch. A ball and a strike. Sometimes a manager will start guys in motion when you have only 1 hit. You're in the 6th inning, but you're on the road trailing by 2. You don't have good speed at first, so it'd be tough to do it with this combination. The 1-1. Ground ball left side. Out at second, the turn, and not in time. Get the lead man, Yadier Molina. That'll extend the inning to Marcell Ozuna representing the tying run.
Don Mattingly is thinking about challenging this, but he appeared to be safe. JT Riddle did what he could. Castro's throw is too late. He was safe.
We're going to go to their pen right here. Don Mattingly is not going to take the chance of the lefty facing Ozuna.
A lot of times this is not done, but the way you look at it, for me at least, it's the right move.
Hernandez to face Ozuna when we come back. Alicia Hernandez, he was selected by Miami in the Rule 5 draft from Houston. Has never faced the Cardinals. Last 6 appearances have been scoreless. At one point he was a starter. At one point he was on the DL with a tooth infection and a broken fingernail.
Strange relationship on one's body.
It happens, I guess.
Perhaps some nail biter.
You never know.
Sure, sure.
So 2 outs and a runner at first. Ozuna, the single to left and also fly to center. He could tie it with one swing of the bat. The 0-1. They are very, very deep for Marcell Ozuna in particular.
Yeah, it's a no doubles defense any way you look at it.
Guarding the line at third, Martin Prado. Holding at first, that's Justin Bour. And the 1-1 pitch to Ozuna. Jed Jerko at the on-deck circle. 2-1 the count. Oof. Big cut, 2-2.
That was a slider after 3 fastballs. That was a hanger. Look at where this pitch is. It was outside, but it was up.
Runner at first, Jose Martinez, and the 2-2 pitch. Hit out of play. Family and friends reconnecting. Marcel back in Miami. As Jim reported, his dad here as well. He'd love to tie it up. The 2-2. Just seeing how Ozuna is going after some of these pitches aggressively with 2 strikes. Makes you wonder if Hernandez has enough to put him away. He's been on a couple of these pitches. We'll see. Another 2-2. Ozuna base hit. His second hit of the night. Runners at first and second for Jerko.
Fastball ripped the left. 2 balls hit very hard by Ozuna tonight. The only 2 hits for the Cardinals in this game.
He's hit 1 at 115 miles per hour. That one at 110. Here's Jerko, 0 for 2, line to right. And a very good play by Prado to take away a hit. His second time up.
That was a backup slider right there. That slider is intended to go away from the right-handed batter, but it stays inside. It actually backs up. Stay inside, a very close pitch.
Here's the 0-1. And Jerko hits a fly ball down the right field line. And in the hole, 0-2. With runners in scoring position, 375 the average. The big spot in this game for the Cardinals. Hernandez trying to send us to the home half of the 6th. He does. Strikeout of Jerko, just flips his bat and helmet. Cardinals strand a pair. Eleven of 19 first pitch strikes, only 2 3-ball counts, and so your key to the game was to be more efficient, maybe go deeper in the game. We may see that tonight.
Yeah. This is similar. I mean, he's given up a couple of runs, but I mean, you're not responsible for what your offense does. But it's reminiscent of that game at AT&T Park in San Francisco, where he worked 8 complete innings.
There's Brian Anderson. It's a check swing, base hit to right field to score Dietrich, who had a bloop double down the right field line. So they had back-to-back hits to start. It's a ball and a strike. Seen a lot of fastballs now after the beginning of the game. I think more fastballs tonight, potentially from Weaver.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Cardinals out hit in this game 5-2, trail 2-0. Two and two. Out of play. Two-two pitch. Hit sharply to first, handled easily by Carpenter. Want to buy or sell tickets at the last minute? Get the StubHub app. You can grab 100% MLB verified tickets up until the first pitch, or sell your extras to another fan. Get the StubHub app today. StubHub, official partner of your St. Louis Cardinals. JT Realmuto was struck out and grounded back to Weaver. 0 for 2. I would have to think that a lot of teams called about Realmuto if Miami was willing to deal. Bohr would be another one. Realmuto, maybe Prado as a veteran presence. And a fly ball. Right field. Martinez, a sliding catch in right. Nice play, Jose Martinez.
Real good play, timed perfectly with the slide. A guy who's not normally an outfielder. Like everybody knows that Martinez can hit. His defense is suspect, but not thin. Very nice play.
So 2 outs in Bohr. Singled off of Luke Weaver. Jose giving the thumbs up to Yadier Molina. He's all right, he said. Bohr also bounced back to Luke Weaver. 1 for 2. Line drive and a base hit into center. 2 for 3 on the night. Starlin Castro has bounced into a 6-4-3 double play and a solo home run back in inning number 4. Castro and his home run, our Nissan drive of the game. No doubt about it. Two outs, runner at first, and a check on Justin Bohr, who has 1 stolen base this year.
For you fans out there that hear us talk about no doubles defense all the time, this is not a situation for that particular defense by the outfielders. The reason for that is Bohr is a very slow runner at first base. That's why Matt Carpenter's playing behind him. So your infield, I beg your pardon, your outfield is playing normal depth here and not 5 steps deeper.
Two outs, runner at first. Muscled out to center field. Back-to-back singles. Cardinals with a lefty. They've got 3 listed in their bullpen and available for tonight.
That was a case of just missing across the plate. Molina was set up outside and the ball was inside.
Tyler Webb, a left-hander for the Cardinals, throwing in the pen. He had a scoreless inning over the weekend against Pittsburgh. Revamped bullpen for Mike Schilt. Guys like Hicks, Hudson, Norris, Ponce de Leon, Myers, Brebbia recently all have done a very good job. So runners at first and second, pitch count at 86. And the batter will be Martin Prado. Grounded to second, also lined out to center. And the first pitch, a ball. Eight for 35 in this spot. And the 1-0. Ground ball hit to short. To Young. Across the diamond. Marlin strand a pair. They have stranded 4 tonight. We head to the 7th, 2-0. Cashner and Colin Ray. Going the other way was Carter Capps, Jared Cozart, Luis Castillo, and an infielder, Josh Naylor. So Chevy called to the pen, his 45th appearance of the year.
I remember that deal. We did that game that afternoon, and Cashner had to shave his beard.
That's right.
And you could see that he had just shaved. He had to have that beard for a year and a half or something like that.
Saw the other day where Lance Lynn going to the Yankees per their team rules. He had to shave.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. Looked like a different guy.
I didn't realize Lance had a beard this year.
Short, but it's a beard. Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. So Guerrero in to face DeYoung, Bader, and Munoz. Paul reached on catcher's interference back in the second, struck out in the fourth. The first pitch, again, strike one.
That's a cure for a lot of what ails a pitcher. Beat and throw, strike one.
Here's the 0-1. Nothing in two. I think you described it best, that Paul DeYoung right now is really in between. A little out in front or a little late.
Lack of confidence.
Oh, 2 hit sharply to third. Martin Prado up with it. First out here in the 7th. Cardinals with just 2 hits tonight. Here's Bader, who sent one to the track back in inning number 2 with 2 runners on. Also flied out to shallow right. It's a single by Ozuna in the 2nd and a single by Ozuna in the 6th. That's been it. One out, nobody on.
Well, you got to love this guy's delivery. 6'7", 214. That ball's on you in a hurry.
Tall, lanky, pitcher's body.
Yeah. Got that with that reach. He's got that extra 2 or 3 inches. Very, very important. And again, that's how the hitters describe it, that the ball is on top of you too quickly or very quickly.
The 1-1. 2 strikes now on the Cardinal center fielder. A 1-2 to Bader. Take it low. 2-2. 100 on the gun. See how the ball, it just, and they talk about too how it jumps out of your hand. That's another thing you notice with this right-hander. Teheran Guerrero. Twice he has hit triple digits in this at bat alone. The next to Bader. Tapped foul. Marlins will have 7, 8, and 9 coming up. Riddle, Sierra, and Guerrero's spot. Webb just standing on the mound right now. He's hot and ready to go. The 2-2. Bader chops it up the middle, and he'll reach easily. The tying run comes to the plate.
Put in your pocket. No way to get Bader on a ball head like that. Too much speed. JT Riddle did what he could, but not in the position to throw the ball. Good play, E for effort, but Bader with an infield hit.
Now Munoz.
Thing about Munoz, he can turn that fastball around.
Sure.
With the best of them.
Greg Garcia at the on-deck circle. 1 out, runner at first. Late in a game, down by 2. Even with Bader's speed, more than likely not running with a tying run at the plate. We'll see.
He did that against Pittsburgh over the weekend.
Inside, 2 balls and no strikes.
Right now, you want him to hit. In other words, you're less inclined to run in a 2-0 count because you want your hitter, you're allowing him to concentrate more because the Cardinals trail by 2 and not 1. If it were 1, it'd be different.
A 2-0 pitch to Munoz. 2-1. An emphatic clap by Jose Oquendo as if to say, let's go. Big gap in left center. The 2-1 pitch to Munoz, instead a check on Bader. Oh boy. They're barking from the Cardinal dugout. It's now 2-2. Pitch off the plate, maybe.
Yeah, that's a strike.
Certainly does change the difference in this plate appearance from 3-1 to 2-2. The next to Munoz. Full count. See if they start Bader here.
I think you do. Why not? Do that, stay out of the double play. You counter that with swing and a miss, throw him out, strike him out, throw him out. So I think the odds are send him. He can run.
Bader at first. Not running on the 3-2, and it's tapped foul. That could change here again. Certainly it's not been from a lack of movement and activity from Mike Schild.
No.
Wins or loss. I mean,
that's right.
He's been aggressive.
I think the only reason he's not running is because they're down by 2 and not 1.
It's another 3-2 pitch. Not running. Munoz hits it out of play. Marlins have dropped 6 in a row, but have the lead 2-0 over St. Louis. This will be the 8th pitch in this at bat for Munoz. Bader running now, and it's fouled back. Got a very good jump too.
Yep. With the count 3-2 on the hitter, it's very difficult for the runner at first to get a good jump because you can't get picked off in that situation. So it's a touchy-feely thing, and the feely the last time was to send him.
Slightly bigger lead, very big lead for Bader. He's running again, and the pitch is hit out of play. Pretty good battle going on here.
From all appearances, it's nothing tricky to Munoz. Guerrero's going to continue to throw the fastball.
10th pitch of the at-bat coming up. A 3-2, not running, and it's tapped foul again. He's seeing a lot of fastballs in this at bat too.
9 of them. Matter of fact, we haven't seen a breaking ball from Guerrero yet.
Drew Steckenrider throwing in the bullpen of the Marlins. It's another 3-2 pitch. Bader back in safely. Running, and again it fouled out of play. 6 foul balls in this plate appearance. They're getting to the point that no matter what happens in this at bat, you may have to go back to your bullpen with the lefty Garcia coming up. We'll see. Got 2 lefties in their pen, Conley and Garcia. A 3-2 pitch. Another foul ball. This will be the 13th pitch coming up. A little smile there from the home plate umpire Jim Reynolds. We'll see again if the Cardinals want to start the runner. Will it be lucky number 13? Bader back in.
Harrison taking that one-way lead where he's leaning back toward first. Because remember, the count's 3-2 over and over and over and over and over and over 13 times.
This could be a game-defining at bat right here by Munoz. Pitch number 13 in this at bat. Bader at first. He's running, and Munoz again hits it out of play.
I don't remember a Cardinal at bat this year where a hitter has worked the count 3-2 with 14 pitches.
I can't think of one. Not like this.
It is fun.
8 foul balls alone in this at bat. Pitch number 14 coming up. Guerrero to Munoz. Big lead at first. The next to him. Puts it in play. Cardinals started the runners, so they avoid the double play. And that was the breaking ball, and Munoz grounds out.
First breaking ball. The way I figured it, Dan, first breaking ball on the 15th pitch of the at bat. My gosh.
Ray Garcia now pinch hitting for Luke Weaver here in the 7th inning. Representing the tying run.
Might be a moot point, but again, that's why you send the runner. Stay on the double play.
Sure.
You know. I think with Garcia up there, there are far too many opposite fielders that play too deep. I think we talked about that and talk about it often. But this is one guy that you don't want to have hurt you on that little triangle between the left fielder, shortstop, and center fielder, right in left center field.
Dietrich deep and left, and
yeah,
Garcia
too deep.
Have to go that way with a guy throwing this hard too.
Yeah, right. Good point.
And a ball. Final line on Luke Weaver. 6 innings, 2 runs on 7 hits, struck out 5, no walks, and gave up the home run to Starlin Castro. Here's a 1-0. Garcia is 7 for 36 as a pinch hitter this year. Most plate appearances as a pinch hitter by a wide margin on the Cardinals team. Good speed at second base in Bader. And the 1-1 now to Greg Garcia. StatCast AI powered by AWS. We'll spray the ball all over the place.
Here's that ball we're talking about, that ball hitting that 17% slot to the outfield.
The 2-1. 2-2.
Good cut. Pinch hitting is so difficult. Used to be more difficult when you couldn't warm up in the dugout. There's that triangle. Left fielder, shortstop, center fielder. Too deep for the left-handed hitting Garcia.
The 2-2. Garcia with a drive down the right field line. That ball is hooking but foul.
I remember 2 or 3 years ago when Greg Garcia hit a pinch hit home run in this ballpark on a similar pitch, a high breaking ball. Had the distance, not the windage.
.28 pitches in the inning. The 2-2. Got him. Strikeout of Garcia. Cardinals strand a runner, their 6th of the night. Time to stretch. 2-0. Your favorite parts of the ballpark is Tyler Webb, who's into the ball game for St. Louis. A Chevy called to the pen. Tyler Webb wears number 30. In relief of Luke Weaver, 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs. He struck out 5, no walks. That's a good sign, and gave up a home run to Castro. 2-0 Miami in the home half of the 7th. And the batter will be JT Riddle. The pitch taken high, showing bunt. Phillips 66. What's in the tank? Lowest bullpen ERA in Major League Baseball since the 27th of July. Then you have Oakland, San Francisco. Hanging breaking ball and a base hit into right field.
Something that we haven't talked about at all, but in my opinion, the easiest pitch for a hitter to hit, left-handed, right-hander, right-hander, left-handed pitcher, is a curveball from a left-handed pitcher. They have a second shot at it. And I can tell you, as a left-handed batter, it's an easier pitch to hit than all the combinations. Right-hander to right-hander, left-hander, slider in the dirt, stuff like that. All things considered equal, that is. That breaking ball doesn't have the same effectiveness against lefty-lefty as it would lefty against a right-handed batter.
Sierra bunts it in the air, and that's the out. Right back to Webb, and there's one away.
You know, if you could think quickly enough and drop that ball, throw it to first, it'd be interesting to see what Riddle would have done. The proper play is to stay at first.
I'd counter that by saying with Sierra's speed, he was already about halfway down the line.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's absolutely true. Yep.
So there's Galloway, Isaac Galloway. There's a pinch hitter with a runner at first. And lines a foul ball down the right field line. But I get your drift. Anybody else, you know, you're talking about being smart with it.
Here's the play. You drop the ball, throw to first. That takes care of Sierra. Now, what you're hoping for is for the guy on first to break towards second. You get him in a rundown, it's a double play.
Right.
I know it's easier said than done, but it's the big leagues. You know what I mean?
Man. I do know what you mean. And a check on JT Riddle at first base. Webb would love a ground ball and a double play. Cardinals turned one back in the first off the bat of Castro. 0-2. And he struck him out. Called third strike. Reminder, the 2018 Cardinals Hall of Fame induction class has been selected. Cardinals and Edward Jones will honor Harry Burkeen. His son will be there. Vince Coleman, Ray Langford. That's coming up August 18th, 3 p.m. at Ballpark Village. Open to the public. Cardinals.com/HOF. Find out more. Strike to Dietrich. Marlins still have to go through the top of the Cardinals lineup coming up. 0-2. Dietrich has a double down the right field line. Was called out on strikes in the third. And Paul DeYoung made a catch in shallow left. 1 for 3. And the breaking ball popped up. Munoz calling for it. He's got it. Webb a scoreless inning coming up for the Cardinals. Carpenter, Molina, Martinez down by 2. Right-hander in. And Galloway, by the way, stays in the game after pinch hitting and striking out looking. In the 7th, he'll take over in left field. Out of the ball game is Derek Dietrich. Steckenrider goes in that spot. The BJC Healthcare Difference Maker, the National League Player of the Week, Matt Carpenter. Second time he's won that award, to go along with a Player of the Month. Tonight, though, quiet, 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts. First pitch, a ball inside. Kyle Bearclaw has been the closer here with Miami, and he's had his issues. Chevy called to the pen, 54th appearance to play here in early August. 2 balls and no strikes.
Bearclaw's had issues that don't pertain to between the lines either.
Issues with the media. We've gotten after him a little bit.
Not wanting to grant interviews after he saves a game. I would think that'd be the time you'd want to do them.
It's part of the game.
Certainly is.
Two strikes on Carpenter. He's had issues with the home plate umpire all night. Called out on strikes back in the first, swinging in the 6th. Flied out to left. Shift on. 2-2 the count. Cardinals need base runners. They have just 3 hits tonight. Inside, full count. Molina on deck, and then Martinez. Outfield very deep for the Marlins, and a 3-2 pitch. Pulled foul near the Cardinal dugout. A reminder that we're on the air, game 2 tomorrow at 5:30. Miles Michaelis and Pablo Lopez for Miami. (3-2), a base hit into right, and again the tying run comes to the plate. Carpenter's first hit of the night. how you beat the shift. Molina has walked tonight, grounded out to short, fly to left.
Over the shift and under the right fielder, or over him.
That works too.
As Carpenter's done 29 times this season.
And the first pitch is strike to Yadier Molina. Chen went 5 2/3. Hernandez, third of an inning. Guerrero is scoreless 7th, and now Steckenrider. "25 straight games reaching base safely for Matt Carpenter." And the 1-1 pitch. One ball and 2 strikes. Doesn't chase, 2-2. And Molina sends it out to left. Racing to get it. Making the catch, Galloway. Carpenter back to the bag at first.
Galloway tested immediately. He may have lost that ball in the lights. Appeared to me when an outfielder gathers the ball like that he could catch on his chest. Yeah, I think he did. Try to ask Isaac about that tomorrow.
Jose Martinez 0 for 2 with a walk. A check on Carpenter at first base. Again, the tying run at the plate.
And appropriately, Dan, the defense with their outfielders farther than they would normally be, the no doubles defense, and on the line at third is Martin Prado. Trying to prevent the double.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Jose Martinez. A little bit low.
Or as David Freese back in 2011 would attest, a triple.
Right. Unfortunately for Nelson Cruz.
Yes. It was supposed to be deeper than he was, and to the delight of and merriment of the Cardinal fans, Cruz was too shallow.
You've done so many great games. Is that the best? Game 6? It's got to be up there.
It's close. It's close. Top 3. Game 7 in 1971 with the emotion of 9-1-1 in both ballparks, the Yankees and the Diamondbacks.
It's Game 7 2001. I would bet 1991 with Minnesota and Atlanta.
Right, Jack Morris. That game probably put Jack Morris in the Hall of Fame.
I agree. Certainly didn't hurt.
No. 10-inning shutout, won 1-0 on Gene Larkin's fly ball single to left field.
The fly ball into right. Anderson over foul territory and makes the catch. You can hear Martinez. It sounded like he was trying to get time. It was not granted, so had to protect the plate with 2 strikes. Take a listen here. Now Marcell Ozuna. Sitting on 13 home runs, 2 hits tonight. And he takes a ball outside. He did go. 1 ball, 1 strike. The next to Ozuna. Ooh, just missed. It's a ball at times we've seen Ozuna chase or roll over.
Close to a strike.
Sure was. The 2-1. The 2-2. On a play. Tying run at the plate, a 2-2 pitch. Good pitch in on his hands, and he was able to foul it back. Tell you what, these last 2 innings give the Cardinals some credit here. Not a lot of hits in the game with 4, but they are grinding through some of these at bats. I'm sure that's something that Mike Schilt will point to.
Yeah, well.
Ozuna puts it in play, hit up the middle. Riddle quickly to first, and the ball gets away. Everybody's safe. And Jed Jerko comes to the plate.
You know, there was so much happening around second base. I wonder if J.T. Riddle was confused about Carpenter going into second base. There's a lot of traffic around second base. And he knew he had to throw the ball quickly because it appeared that he wasn't sure he had to throw it in front of him or behind him. Watch.
I think the question then would be, was he better off flipping to second base?
Yeah, but second baseman wasn't there. Of course, Carpenter not a fast runner, so I don't know. A lot going on. Break for the Cardinals. Another hit for Ozuna.
A strike to Jed Jerko. Came up with 2 runners on back in the 6th and struck out. Could put the Cardinals on top. Inside. A ball and a strike. He's lined out to right. Hit into a fielder's choice, and a good play by Prado, and struck out back in the 6th. Pitch number 27 of the inning. The 1-1. And Jerko hits a high fly ball, center field, and that'll stay in the ballpark.
Jed probably thinking, close the roof.
moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Ford, going further so you can. It's the bobblehead Hall of Fame at this ballpark.
Yep. Jeffrey Loria's collection. So I guess he left the collection to Derek Jeter and his partner. It's the least he could do for $2 billion.
Isn't that the truth? Here's Brian Anderson, second inning for Webb. Starting Friday night on this road trip, if my math is correct. The Cardinals now, if you include tonight, they have stranded 45 runners. 45 in 3+ games. One and two the count on Anderson.
Stranded more guys than Elizabeth Taylor.
Here's a 1-2. And it's popped up. Munoz with the catch. Husbands.
Yeah.
Realmuto, the batter, 0 for 3. The Cardinals will have DeYoung, Bader, and Munoz coming up. The Cardinals gave up Cal Bearclaw to get Steve Cishek a couple of years ago, and now Bearclaw, the closer. And a strike from Webb to Realmuto. Called out on strikes, grounded back to the pitcher, and flied out to right.
Cishek now with the Phillies, right?
Cubs.
Cubbies, that's right. Thank you, partner. Phillies have another right-handed sidearmer too, don't they?
Oh yeah.
Who am I thinking of?
From the Cardinals.
Yes.
Pat Neshek.
Neshek, right. Thank you. That's why I rely on you. Good job.
It's debatable. Bader backs up. He'll make the catch.
Harrison probably thinking if mine didn't go out, yours surely isn't going out.
Well, there's been a couple of balls hit by the Cardinals tonight.
It's true.
Think about the one that Bader hit that you're referring to back in the second inning, and then the ball that Jed Jerko hit. Looks like he's still thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it puts you one up.
Yep.
With 2 to play.
Hit it a ton. It's 407, deepest part of this ballpark to center.
And if you folks have not joined us until late in the game, the roof is open for the first time since this ballpark opened in 2012 in the month of August.
It's thick, it's muggy right now, kind of that wet feeling that you get in Florida. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a legitimate point. You got to wonder if the ball's been knocked down a little bit by that. Doesn't carry as well. 2-1 pitch now to Justin Bohr. Marlins a couple of years ago looked at platooning Bohr against lefties. He was better a year ago, but he's had his issues with him. 2-2. And the count runs full. Three-two. to center. So Webb, very good work with 2 scoreless innings, sends us to the 9th. DeYoung, Bader, Munoz coming up. 2-0 our score. Cal Bearclaw, the closer in. 8th inning. Budweiser play of the game. If this goes, you can see the reaction there by Real Muto. He thought it was out. And many in the ballpark did as well. Budweiser play of the game. Catch in center. Keep the Cardinals off the board. Cal Bearclaw, their Chevy called to the pen. 10 for 16 in save opportunities are scored. 2-0. Here's Paul DeYoung. Reached on catcher's interference, struck out and grounded out. Rojas takes over at first base for Bohr. A ball and a strike. Hyundai pitch arsenal, fastball, slider, and a changeup. Use that against lefties. And the 1-1. DeYoung hits it out to center field, and that ball is down. And again, the Cardinals will have the tying run come to the plate.
So Paul DeYoung with his first hit of the night. Finds a hole in the outfield between left and center. And as Dan said, here is the potential tying run.
Harrison Bader fly to deep center. Fly to right and has an infield hit. And ball 1. Our crowd tonight, this might be generous. 8,563. 8,563. Bearclaw's ERA, his last 5 appearances, is over 22. Keep that in mind. Where's he at mentally right now? After the leadoff hit, tying run at the plate. Even worse, last 4 games, even 27 with the ERA. Big gap left center. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hung that base hit into right. Bader his second hit.
That's an alert play by Anderson, the right fielder. Paul DeYoung going into second base. You got to get there in a hurry. Take nothing for granted. Paul at second base by about a step. Watch. Good play.
Colton Wong is moved to the on-deck circle. Runners at first and second, nobody out. Oquendo meeting with Munoz to talk about how they want to approach this plate appearance.
He's not bunting. What do you think? You don't bunt on the road to tie anyway. And the way the Cardinals have had a tough time scoring runs, I mean, you've got a weapon here. You don't turn a weapon into a pistol.
He had a 15-pitch at bat back in the 7th inning. Nobody out, 2 runners on. Munoz at the plate.
He squared around. Well, I don't know about that.
You see Jose Oquendo just put his head down like, oh man, you gave it away. Now take it off and hit a home run. Munoz looks at a ball.
They'll take it off. You tease him into throwing a fastball. That's what you do when you square around in that situation.
Get a cookie.
You hope to get a cookie.
Corners charging. Another slider outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Real Muto will visit now with Bear Claw. Nobody up in the Miami bullpen.
And we'll talk to Mike Schilt about that tomorrow or after the game tonight. But this is not. I mean, to me, I think you swing the bat here. I think he's going to get a fastball. However, he's gotten 2 sliders. You know, the fact is, most guys can't bunt anyway. It's a dying art. And again, Munoz is a force at the plate. A big one.
A 2-0 pitch to Munoz. That's in the dirt, 3-0. The Cardinals dugout making some noise. We can hear that up here.
Talk about a guy who's pressing. That's Bear Claw right now. Danny, you talked about his bulging earned run average over 22 in his last 5 games.
I mean, if I'm Don Mattingly, I got to have somebody up right now.
Absolutely, I agree.
3-0, and he walked him, and the bases are loaded. Nobody up and throwing, and now they finally get a right-hander up. But will it be too late?
Now you got Adam Connolly, who gave it up yesterday in Philadelphia. He's a left-hander. We're talking about Carpenter now. Not looking too far ahead.
The Cardinal fans, some of them on their feet here in Miami. Bases loaded. Nobody out. First pitch to Wong is a slider taken low. A .257 career pinch hitter, Colton Wong. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Colton Wong. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jordan Hicks, Bud Norris, both are up and throwing in the Cardinal pen. Game tied. Hicks comes in. Cardinals take the lead. Bud Norris. 1 ball, 1 strike on Colton Wong. 1-2. Matt Carpenter is at the on-deck circle. No lefty throwing in the pen currently for Miami. They've got 2 of them.
2 available, Adam Connolly and Yarlin Garcia.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Wong. 2-2.
I would think he'd come back with a breaking ball after seeing Colton Wong look so bad on that 1-1 breaking ball. We'll see. Colton trying to put the ball in play.
The 2-2 pitch to Colton Wong. Taken for a ball. The bases loaded and a full count and nobody out here in the top of the 9th.
The best pitch to throw Wong is a breaking ball. However, if he throws it out of the strike zone, he walks in first run of the game for the Cardinals.
3-2 pitch to Colton Wong. Here she comes. A breaking ball and struck him out.
Credit Realmuto right there. Threw the breaking ball knowing Wong was set for the fastball, and Wong strikes out.
And now Carpenter. Single to right. If you're a Cardinal fan, this is who you want at the plate. 1 for 4. The base hit to right. Pair of strikeouts and also flied out to left. The first pitch to Matt Carpenter. Take it for a ball. This is why he is red hot, plus in this spot a remarkable average in his career of .535, and that's not a small sample size. That's a lot of plate appearances with the bases loaded. A 1-0 pitch. 2-0. Shift on the right side of the infield, and with the speed of Bader, a base hit more than likely as deep as the Marlins are playing in the outfield. This game is at least tied.
Hot boy. Great.
Two balls and no strikes. Carpenter pulls it foul right over the Cardinal dugout. 2-1. You want a little drama, you've got it. The Young is single. Bader is single. Munoz the walk. Strikeout of Wong. There's a pinch hitter, and now Matt Carpenter, the game's hottest hitter. Two-one pitch. 3-1.
3-2 breaking ball to Wong. 2-1 breaking ball to Carpenter.
Twenty pitches, 12 balls, 8 strikes. The game on the line. A 3-1 pitch. He walked him. Cardinals get on the board with a bases loaded walk. DeYoung scores. A base hit could give the Cardinals a lead. That'll be it for Bear Claw. Don Mattingly, the slow walk out to the mound. And the batter will be Yadier Molina.
Going to be a slower walk for Bear Claw to the dugout.
Javi Guerra, a right-hander, to face Yadier Molina, and the base is loaded when we come back. board is that there's the use of the iPad, and they can call up any player, any pitcher at any time to look at video. That's what Molina is doing right there.
It'd be tough for Yachty to look at video when Guerra is a Rule 5 draft. He was pitching in the minor leagues last year.
Molina on the first pitch fouls it back. His career with the bases loaded, 5 grand slams, a .309 average. Third baseman Prado is near Bader at third. Now moving off the line.
Cardinal fans are thinking a single would be grand enough.
The 0-1, and it could be 2. Out at second, double play. Guerra comes in and gets the ground ball, and Miami somehow, some way holds on. A double play to end it. 2-1 the final here in Game 1.